PewPewNationTV. Welcome back, guys. Man, we got some stuff happening today. Let me tell you. We have a situation on our hands that is just insane. We really do. I mean, the attack on the Second Amendment that I just came across recently that no one is talking about on the news. Well, not really, maybe except for one person. But we're about to go ahead and get into something that's going to be really, really hot and heavy. And especially because this is the beginning of our Freedom Friday 2A News, man. That's right. We are going to kick this thing off, and we're going to kick it off really, really good with some really interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm dropping some really fat beats right now because, I mean, I'm just like having a good time. I'm having fun. Hope you guys are having fun this Friday. Thank you for all the subs. Thank you for checking out the channel. Most importantly, we are on our way to try to get to 1,000 subs, as you guys know. So thank you so much for everybody that has contributed to the channel. Buy me a coffee. Patreon is coming online soon. Not yet. I'm just busy, man. I'm just doing all kinds of stuff, having all kinds of fun, hanging out with Jeff over at Freedom to Think podcast, doing a lot of reactionary stuff, with Tom McDonald, man. Huge fan. Can't wait for his stuff to get here. But anyway, that's not about today. Today is about Second Amendment news. So we're going to jump right back into this thing really, really quick. And as you guys can see, on the thumbnail, you guys notice it. I mean, it's like, how is your ESG score? I mean, seriously, how is your ESG score? Or what is your your let me get it right. Your ESG score. How is that, right? For those of you out there that don't have an idea or a clue as to what that is, we know what our standard credit score is, right? Right? You have a credit score, and that determines what your purchasing power is going to be, for all things that you want to buy. You don't want to buy equipment. You want to buy a car. You want to buy a boat. You want to buy a house, right? You got to have a good credit rating. You guys know that. Absolutely. But they've changed the game up a little bit. Now there is something out there that's called a ESG score. Okay. And I'm going to break that down for you here, and I'm going to give you the definition of what that is, and I'll be splashing some stuff up here, and you guys are going to know what it is right away, and I'm telling you, basically in a nutshell, what's happening is they're not coming after your guns. They're not going to come after our guns at all. Okay. They're not going to come after ammunition. They're not going to do any of that. They're just not. Okay. What they're going to do is, between the banks, between government, they're combining forces, all right? And they are basically going to say, hey, we're not going to mess with your Second Amendment. All we're going to do is, if you don't meet a certain credit criteria, you can't buy it. They're going to prevent you from buying ammunition and firearms and all that stuff, all right? I'm just telling you. And that's just the beginning. That's where they're starting, all right? So I'm going to read to you guys, got it right here. All right. My little news report for kicking off Freedom Fridays. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the deal is here. Basically, this thing says in here, in a major victory for gun control advocates. This just makes me want to puke. Visa Incorporated now plans to flag firearm sales by separately categorizing sales at gun shops. And other credit card companies, including MasterCard and American Express, may soon follow. But while that's disturbing enough, there's a whole lot more to this story. There is. Earlier this month, Robert B. Thompson III, a senior vice president of Visa, said in a letter to gun control lawmakers, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, your Democrat from Massachusetts, man, she's her in itself is just anyway, it's just very, weird that she's actually involved, being that her husband, is one of the chairmen for Smith & Wesson, or a major shareholder for that matter, which is in itself very creepy. But anyway, that his company believes that Asking payment networks to serve as a moral authority by deciding which legal goods can or cannot be purchased sets a dangerous precedent. In other words, Visa said, this is a bad idea, guys. This is something that you don't want to do, right? But over the weekend, Visa said it would adopt the new set of standards put forth by the, here it comes, International Organization for Standardization, the ISO, okay, by creating a special merchant category code for gun stores to use. In other words, basically, in a nutshell, every time that you go to the store to make a purchase of whatever it is, okay, including ammo and firearms, it would fall under a category called a general category. That was it. It's a code that applies in the machines, right? And it says it's a general category. Now, what they want to do is they want to do a separate code for ammo and for firearms. Let me continue. Following ISO's decision to establish a new merchant category code, Visa will proceed with next steps while ensuring we protect all legal commerce on the Visa network in accordance with our long-standing rules, Visa said in a statement on Saturday. So if this wasn't Visa's idea, whose was it? And why did Visa suddenly cave? Yes, they caved. They changed their minds. All right. So don't believe me. I mean, look, you're going to get a little piece, a little tidbit from The Blaze. You know, Glenn Beck actually did a small piece on this. Okay. And he's going to explain it to you as well. So don't take my word for it. I'm not the one that's making this crap up. I mean, this is out there. Okay. And it says on here, Monday, Glenn pointed out that that none of this originated from the banks or the credit card companies. Okay. He's saying that it never came from the banks or the credit card companies. So where did it come from? This is just getting very, very, creepy again in itself. All right. Glenn read a letter written by Senator Warren. Wow. A representative also named Madeline Dean, another Democrat from Pennsylvania, that openly admitted that the implementation of a new merchant category code for gun and ammunition stores would only be the first step towards facilitating the collection of valuable financial data that could help law enforcement and, in encountering the financing of, ready for it, terrorism efforts. Let's go over that one again, okay? Yeah, listen to this one again. I'm flabbergasted here. I really am. Okay. The first steps towards facilitating the collection of valuable financial data, in other words, gun registrations, tracking, okay, that could help law enforcement. Didn't we just hire 87,000 new IRS agents? Oh, wait. I think they're going to work alongside the ATF. Just saying. That could help law enforcement in countering the financing of terrorism efforts. Didn't I can't climb up a flight of stairs. I can't ride a bicycle because I have a problem falling all the time. Didn't he just recently speak, with that whole satanic, demonic, background red lighting situation where he said that we were the enemy? Okay. I'll let that one sink in also as well. Now, so are progressive leftists in Congress winning the battle for gun control? Or is someone even more powerful than the government calling the shots? Well, I tell you what, guys, this is something that really, really not only shocked me a little bit. Yes, I do get shocked. Okay. Because every now and then I just have this thing of, I don't like playing by the rules much. You know what I mean? I just don't. It's just one of those things where I just hate for your government to be telling me what to do. But I'm just going to go ahead and give this over to Mr. Beck, and I'm going to let him give you his take on it. And then I'm going to come back and do a little bit of reaction based off of what he said. And then I'll just let you guys decide out there, what the deal is, right? Because I'm telling you, man, this is just getting really, really, really creepy here. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it and see what Mr. Beck says.
Visa Inc. said over the weekend that it plans to start separately categorizing sales at gun shops. The move is considered to be a major victory for gun control advocates who claim that the better tracking of gun sales may help prevent future mass shootings. Other major payment processors, including MasterCard and American Express, have also said they plan to move forward with categorizing gun shop sales. Now, this is really important that you listen. Visa said it would adopt the new International Organization for Standardization, ISO, the new merchant code for gun sales. Until now, gun store sales were considered general merchandise. The code would show where an individual spends money, but not what items were purchased. MasterCard said that following the ISO's approval of the new merchant code, we now turn our focus to how it will be implemented by merchants and their banks as we continue to support lawful purchases on our network while protecting the privacy and decisions of individual cardholders. Merchant category codes currently exist for most type of purchases. When you buy an airline ticket or pay for your groceries, your credit card company has a special code for those retailers. It's just common sense that we have the same policies in place for gun and ammunition stores, says the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams. The industry's decision to create a firearms-specific code is nothing more than a capitulation to anti-gun politicians and activists bent on eroding the rights of law-abiding Americans, one transaction at a time. This according to the spokesperson for the National Rifle Association. So which is it? No big deal, or the furthering of the erosion of your rights? Well, let's go back to see if we can understand this story first. Let's trace this back a few months. Where was the pressure coming from? Quote from CBS News. A group of congressional Democrats is urging credit card companies to track the suspected firearm and ammunition purchases as a means to identify and stop gun crime. The letter, drafted by Elizabeth Warren and Congresswoman Dean of Pennsylvania and signed by over a dozen other progressive colleagues, urges the CEOs of MasterCard, American Express, and Visa to back the creation of a merchant category code for gun and ammunition retailers. Okay, now this is really interesting. So this didn't originate with the banks. This originated with the progressive left in Congress. The creation of a new merchant category code for gun and ammunition retail stores will be the first step. They always say this, and nobody listens. Will be the first step towards facilitating the collection of valuable financial data that could help law enforcement in countering the financing of terrorism efforts. Now, I thought we had done all of this, I don't know, about 20 years ago when we were looking into terrorists. Notice carefully what they say. The creation of a new merchant category code for gun and ammunition retail stores. This, according to the congressman that signed this and the senator, the first step towards facilitating the collection of valuable financial data. Now, that's where the pressure came from. But where did this originate? Let's trace it back a little further.
Here it comes.
Because there's no way Elizabeth Warren dreamt this up on her own. This initiative was first pushed by the Amalgamated Bank. Now, who's the Amalgamated Bank? Well, if you really kind of pay attention to this show and you watch the specials, you know who the Amalgamated Bank is. They are the bank owned by the Workers United / SEIU union. So it's a labor union bank, but not just any labor union bank. This is the bank that brought the Paris Accord financial framework to the United States financial institutions as well. They were the signers at the Paris Accords, the meetings that happened before. And other banks were like, we're not going to get involved in that. But it was the SEIU labor union bank that brought it here to America and then got politicians to push and coerce and get all of the other banks to sign in on this. It was a climate credit score idea. It sounded insane back then, but it's known as ESG, and it is the industry standard now. So it was all about using banks as a pressure point mechanism to bend everyone to their climate will. This is what the amalgamated bank brought over here. That pressure point system clearly worked because now all of the banks, all of the credit cards, all of the insurance companies are on board with it now. So now this bank, along with Senator Warren and other Democratic congressmen, are applying even more pressure to go after our guns. Now, they say that's just not going to happen. Let me give you this. CBS News, big scoop. The industry that sets international standards for credit card companies has decided to create a new code for the purchase of guns and ammo. Now, notice, this isn't the United States government. This is an industry group, meaning the financial sector, that sets the international standards. So now we are being forced to accept international standards, and the rest of the country, the rest of the world really doesn't care about guns and ammunition because they ain't got any. We're unique in the world with our Second Amendment. But now we have international standards. So we just can't go, we can't defy these international standards. Now, they say they're not going to identify the exact purchase. They will separate those items from the more generic category. So merchant category codes made up of 4 digits used across all sorts of industries. And it not supposed to reveal any individual product purchases. Credit card companies lump firearm retailers in with other outlets, classifying them as 5999. Upside down, it's a 5 that doesn't exist, and then 3 6s. Miscellaneous retail stores, or 5941 sporting goods stores. New code now for firearm merchants. Potentially suspicious purchasing powers could be flagged by law enforcement. Now, wait a minute. What is a suspicious purchase? This is part of the plan being pushed by Democratic candidates and the Amalgamated Bank of New York, a progressive bank. This is according to CBS News now. The letter drafted by Elizabeth Warren and blah, 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 came out back in June. So the congressional pressure worked. The new code has been approved, but Visa is not happy about it. In a letter obtained by CBS News, sent by Visa last Wednesday in response to congressional Democrats who supported the plan, the company said, "We believe asking payment networks to serve as a moral authority by deciding which legal goods can or cannot be purchased sets a dangerous precedent." Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's Visa. You have this all wrong. Wait a minute. You're just categorizing. It's just numbers. You're not tracking. You're not being asked to do anything except if there's suspicious activity, report it. And what are you turning this into? Let me read this again from Visa. We believe asking payment networks to serve as a moral authority by deciding which legal goods can or cannot be purchased such a dangerous precedent. Gee, this is almost like, well, ESG, where Visa, MasterCard, and American Express will be told by their peers and pressured, you know, guys, we can't do business with you. If you're accepting these payments, from gun stores, if you're actually doing business with gun stores, we can't do business with you. So is it that they're creating a national database, which I've heard, or is it what I don't hear? They're creating a separate category. That way, no matter where you go, if you're buying guns and ammunition at Walmart, I'm sorry, your credit card can't be used here for that. So they make it impossible for you to use your credit card to buy any kinds of guns. Gee, what would be next on the ESG scale? Now, I'm going to tell you what the Amalgamated Bank said in response to Visa. So let me go back to this letter from CBS News sent by Visa last Wednesday. We believe that asking payment networks to serve as a moral authority by deciding which legal goods can or cannot be purchased sets a dangerous precedent. We understood Amalgamated Bank's request to be justified, at least in part, as by an interest in blocking transactions that would fall under such a new category. And Visa's rules expressly prohibit blocking of legal transactions under an MCC. So they're saying, they're having the balls to come out. Thank you, Visa. Having the balls to come out and call a spade a spade. Look, this is what they want. They're going to block. The next step is to block all transactions for firearm or ammunition, and it will all be tracked. Oh, well, I'll just pay for it in cash. No, now there's a new little special rule here that all transactions are going to be watched. Now, the president and CEO of Amalgamated Union Bank, we all have to do our part to stop gun violence, and sometimes it starts with illegal purchases of guns and ammunition. Right. The new code will allow us to fully comply with our duty to report suspicious activity and illegal gun sales. Why are we... when you're going out and you're buying a gun as a drug dealer, do you use your Amex Centurion card? This action answers the call of millions of Americans who want safety from gun violence, and we are proud to have led the broad coalition of advocates, shareholders, and elected officials that achieved this historic outcome. Boy, it doesn't seem like Amalgamated Bank thinks this is a small deal. Priscilla Sims Brown, she's the CEO, recently appeared on CNBC where she was asked about her efforts to push the new category code. Quote, if we did have a merchant code for gun stores, we could detect patterns that would indicate that there had been something unusual going on. So now we're not looking for individuals, we're looking for patterns. She says all the banks will do is file a suspicious activity report, at which point it will be up to local or federal law enforcement to act on those reports. So who's doing the follow-up? Where are you sending that exactly? And if that's the case, why is Visa concerned about the attempt to block transactions using these codes? This is more than just an official registration, because that's what I hear people say. Oh, you can't do that. That'd be a federal registration. No, it's worse than that, and they are openly, Visa, warning us. They didn't want to go along with it, and then suddenly they said, oh, no, wait, we misunderstand. We're fine. Where's the pressure coming from? Is it the banking industry? Is it the government? Or is it both?
It's both. It is absolutely both. Okay. They are absolutely killing us. Just absolutely killing us with this. They just are. Okay. They just are. It is absolutely insane to even fathom this. Uh, um, Unbelievable. So it is insane that they're actually doing this, man. It is insane. You guys heard it. Uh, what are your thoughts? Leave some comments in the description down below. Okay, let me know what you think. Uh, in a nutshell, if you don't have a good ESG score, if you don't have a good ESG score based on their standards and their criteria, they don't care if plastic, cash, Bitcoin, whatever it is, you're not going to be allowed to buy it. You're not going to be allowed to buy any firearms, any ammunition, anything that is going to give you a right to defend yourself. Okay. And that is just the beginning. Like he said, it is just the beginning. All right. It's not something that is, oh, we're just going to start here and we're just going to leave it alone. No. So what's next? What's next? What comes after that? You know, if you don't have a proper ESG score, you're not going to be able to buy a car because it's a gas powered car, not an electric car. So you don't meet the environmental green standard, right? You don't meet the wokeness standard. And surely you don't meet the governance standard, meaning compliance, to the government, bowing to the elite supreme leader. Guys, this is serious stuff. This is very, very serious stuff. I implore you, I really, really implore you, keep an eye on HR 1808. Okay. HR 1808 is is tabled right now. Okay. It's still tabled. There's nothing going on with this thing. They are going to bring it back. Eventually they will revisit that. Okay. And when they do, I have no idea what's going to happen. And you know what? If they do nothing and they leave this damn thing tabled, okay, it just served as a nice little old paperweight and it's a distractionary measure, right? Because remember, their agenda is to retain power, to be reelected again, but they know that the American people are not stupid. They know that they can't come out and just bluntly in your face say, we're going to violate your Second Amendment because it won't stand a snowball's chance in hell in front of the Supreme Court as of right now. So what are they going to do? They're going to backdoor us just like they do everything else. All right. We're not going to prevent you from buying guns. We're not going to come and grab them. We're not going to come and confiscate them. We're not going to prevent you from having ammunition. No, 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 no. You can have all that stuff as long as you meet the ESG credit standardization level, whatever that may be. And if you don't behave, remember, we just hired 87,000 IRS agents that are going to work in conjunction with the ATF, and you're going to get that knock on the door. Huh? They're going to enforce it, but it's going to be done through the legal system. This is what they're going after, guys. They're going after you and I and every freedom-loving American, okay? And they're not going to do it by taking away your Second Amendment. They're going to do it by calling it a tax, calling it a law, calling it whatever you want to do it, but they're going to do it, and they're currently working on it right now. If you got value out of this video that I brought for you guys today, our initial, Freedom Friday 2A news on PewPewNationTV, do me a favor, like you saw on the banner on the tracer below, smash that like button, share with all your friends and people that you know, and please, please, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you click that activation bell and make so that way you can get notifications, whenever new content comes out. All right. If you want to find out a little bit more, I'll leave some descriptions down below for Buy Me a Coffee. Patreon, like I said, is coming soon. And just be mindful of what's going on, guys. All right. And with that, we will go ahead and catch you on the next one. Keep your powder dry and stay safe. See ya.